A wild Saturday night coming up at the gym. Oh, how times have changed. Just a quick one on the gym. You'll see that I'm at a different location this time to my other video. So this is the gym that I usually train at and it's been the only gym pretty much I've gone to for the last 5 or so years. You may have remembered that in the last video I said that he wasn't too keen on people filming in this gym, but after a recent conversation we agreed that, you know, he would allow me to do so moving forward. So yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, you may recognise the interior design of this gym. It's quite unique. So before I go into the topic of this video, I just wanted to give a few updates on myself. So I am 5 weeks after my dieting phase. So I've filmed a little bit of my workout to go behind this video. It was an arm session. It's amazing like how even after 5 weeks of being off plan, your body can look so different. My calories are currently sitting at around 3,800 and I am roughly about 4.5 kilos up from my lowest weight around 6-7 weeks ago. So quite steady gain, but you'll see, like I said, it's all an illusion. I feel bigger, I feel stronger, but my body looks worse, even though technically if you see me in person you'd probably think I looked bigger. So it is all a bit of an illusion, to be honest. Anyone that's into, you know, trying to build muscle and get bigger, you know the score. You know, when you're leaner you do appear bigger on photos and videos, etc. Moving on to the topic of the video. Some people may be disappointed, it's probably not what you think. But I thought I'd cover the topic because I know personally of a lot of people that are like long-term couples trying for kids. There's been, you know, whether they go to the gym or not, like I know it's quite a real struggle. And actually it was something that me and Ash, and by the way, when I refer to Ash, for those that don't know, my wife is called Ashley as well. We're both Ashley Dodds, so when I refer to Ash, you know who I mean. So it's something that we did struggle with, and at the time I kind of thought it was me because have done PEDs in the past and I've tried pretty much all of them. I did fear that my fertility was damaged by that use when I was younger. And to be honest, I'd never actually been tested, but it was just more from, you know, looking on forums and other people and what they've had to do, etc. So after about 12 months, at this point I hadn't been tested for fertility, nor had Ash. But I wanted to give something a go to see if it would make any difference. So I kind of did, like I said, a lot of research myself, and by the way, look, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a specialist in this area. I am literally talking from my own experiment, so to call it. Like I said, I do know a lot in this field when we're talking about PEDs, etc. I've done a lot of research myself and what bodybuilders have had to do to get their wives pregnant in the past. So I'm only passing over information which, one, I've experimented with, and two, you know, I've taken from other people that have done similar and had success. So I started my own protocol, which has been tried and tested, and that is HCG, which is the main driver. I also took Clomid and Nolvadex, and I'll go through dosages in a second of what I did. So basically what HCG is, and why it's good for men, is basically, so it stimulates testosterone production, and the main thing for us as well, it supports sperm production. So what I was doing is subcutaneously injecting 1,000 units 3 times a week, and that lasted for 4 weeks. I also then finished that with, so the final 16 days of the 4 weeks, I was taking Clomid at 50 milligrams every day, and then Nolvadex at 20 milligrams every day for the last 16 days as well. So following that, like I said, you don't really notice any change immediately, or I didn't. There was no side effects or anything like that. Like I said, it's from people that have done this time and time and time again. Like I said, very, very little, if I don't think I've seen anyone really have any kind of, from what I've seen, side effects from that. And actually, again, I could be wrong on this, but it is something that the NHS would actually do anyway in regards to fertility protocol for men that require that. My advice would be for the average person to go to your doctor first before trying this, because some people literally just get unlucky and it just takes time. But like I said, with my background and what I'd done in the past, I kind of assumed that it was because I was lacking in the fertility department. So 2 weeks after this protocol had finished, we had our fertility checks. Bit of a funny story. So anyone that's done a male fertility test, when you release the load in the pot, so to speak, you've got a limited time frame to get it to the place of drop off. So had it in a test tube with my name on, was running around Swindon Hospital trying to find the department of where we hand it over, and I went up to a reception desk in which I thought was the correct place, and I kind of said, I'm here to drop off my sperm test, and because I was a little bit nervous about doing it, and we were flapping a little bit in regards to time frames getting it dropped off, I actually gave it to a completely different department. They were looking at me like, we can't do nothing with this, this is the wrong department, and I was there trying to shove it in her face, handing it over. So in the end, the allotted time had kind of run out, so my test tube ended up in a bin outside of Swindon Hospital, which probably wasn't the best idea. But yeah, learn from your mistakes, eh? So literally about, I would say, a week after doing those tests, and it was before we even got the results back, Ash did fall pregnant. So it could be a complete coincidence that I've just finished this HCG, Clomid and Nolva cycle, or it actually worked. And actually, when the results did come back from my fertility test, I was the high end of normal. So considering, the assumption is when people take testosterone, etc., obviously your fertility depletes and sometimes doesn't even return. Mine was at the high end of what they would consider normal. So take it for what it is. Like I said, I'm only speaking from my own experience and what I did. Like I said, everybody is independent to themselves. Some people have never taken testosterone. Some people are natural and still struggle to fall pregnant. So like I said, there are a lot of kind of medical reasons potentially as to why that is. So just because this works for me, it may not work for you. But like I said, I have had the question a few times, with taking PEDs in the past, how did you get your wife pregnant? So this is literally a video to tell you my story and how I did it.